This podcast is brought to you by eBizRadio, the place to go if you want to know about the world of business and the business of the world. For daily podcast and article uploads, go to eBizRadio.com or follow us on Twitter at eBizRadio Global. My name is Nick Snow, and joining me for an edition of eBiz Wires is David Ferguson, Director of Graffiti. David, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me. We're going to be chatting Graffiti, of course, what they specifically do, and we'll go from that. Of course, if you've been around, you might have seen the Graffiti Jeep in various parts of the country. So once again, David, thank you very much for joining me. And I think let's start right at the top. What is Graffiti, and what do you guys do?
Nick, first of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. It's great to chat to you. Nick, Graffiti is South Africa's leading vehicle branding company. It's been in existence for close on 15 years, and over that time, we've diversified and extended our offering to extend into the tarpaulin industry, where we offer a comprehensive service and solution and repairs to all parts of the trucking tarpaulin industry. We also have a fully comprehensive retail division, which is responsible for all forms of branding, both in-store, large outdoor formats that are branding, and also our internal design division has grown its strength and its presence to customers, not just wanting vehicle branding and truck designs, but also to extend to offer a comprehensive design service to customers looking for corporate identity and that sort of thing. So it really has grown over the years. But our roots are still largely in the mobile or the transit kind of space, where we look at vehicles and trucks on the road as a form of advertising and the most cost-effective form thereof if you own the vehicle yourself.
Absolutely. I was going to say they are essentially traveling billboards. I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking at a system whereby people are on the roads all the time, thousands upon thousands of people, and so your exposure for simply branding your vehicle is almost intangible.
It is, Nick, and absolutely. I mean, if you just take, for example, the cost of branding a vehicle and the duration of the branding, and as you say, if you work how many kilometers your car travels on a day and how many eyeballs are on it and how many different places it's seen, it makes a very, very compelling reason to brand your fleet. Even if you only have one vehicle, it certainly is the place to start in that you own the media, and our branding is warranted for 3 years. So if you break down the cost of a branding of a vehicle and amortize it over the 36-month period, it's really costing you next to nothing.
Absolutely, especially considering the branding is going to stay on your vehicle further than that 3-year period. And of course, if it's still there, then it's an even better return on the money that you spent in the first place.
Absolutely. It's like driving around in your business card. That's what I say to customers. The beauty of vehicle and truck branding is that you can't switch it off. You can't ignore it. When compared to other forms of outdoor media, because it's branding on the move, it's something that always catches your eye. And also, a motor vehicle or truck is never seen in the same place twice. And I think that's been the huge success of our Jeeps. In Durban, we've only got 2 down here, but the impression when you go and see people is that, we've seen your Jeeps all over. How many do you have? And when I tell them 2, they're quite horrified because they think we've got at least 10. But they don't understand. It's the same one same 2 they've seen twice. But the exposure and the mileage that we get out of it is fantastic. And that helps us tremendously when we're selling to customers and saying, we'll see the power of just 2 Jeeps. You've got 5 caddies or whatever it is. Imagine the power, and reach you'll have with your little fleet.
Yes, no, most definitely. And I suppose the gap in the market that you found specifically states that. You're like, well, we're never going to see the same vehicle in the same place twice. So we're going to make it seem like it's everywhere. Whereas, it's just you getting in your car and doing your thing as you go about your day.
Absolutely. And I think also the beauty of it as well is that it works 24/7. So it doesn't really matter if I am on my way to a meeting, or if I'm taking my family to a restaurant, or I'm at the beach, or I'm at a shopping mall, or if I go away on holiday. My message and the message of my company, what we do, and that applies for all brands, goes with me wherever I go. So it works if I'm on the highway or even just parked on the side of the road. getting exposure for my brand.
Absolutely. So now nearly a third of people would base a buying decision on the impression that you get from an advert. I mean, of course, there's a little bit of statistics there. But, is there still a need to have proper advertising or somewhere to be redirected to from the branding that you have on your vehicle?
So just repeat the question. Am I understand it correctly? Say it again, please.
Sure. What I said that a lot of people base a buying decision on the impression that they get from an advert. So, of course, the advert that they would maybe see on the vehicle. Is it still necessary to have proper advertising or some way to send people to by engaging with your vehicle branding?
Absolutely, Nick. And the reason why I say that is because, you do get some people who perhaps might not like a billboard because it spoils the scenery. Or a street pole ad that might be, offensive to somebody. And I think the beauty of vehicle branding is that it's non-offensive. In that people really, generally, we like to have a very creative and funky design, which makes a lot of people smile and turns heads. And I think from that, it all starts with the right design. Because when you say to our customers, we need good artwork in order to come up with a good design, but also the message that is conveyed on there. The most important thing we try and get when we sit with a customer to put a design together is, what do they want to achieve from the branding? Some are established brands that just want sort of their brand to be, top of mind going forward. Others really want to pull customers in a certain direction. We can assist with that from our design side. So whether it's a call to action or whether it's just a reminder of the brand without really saying too much, we can cater for both.
Yes.
I think there's always a need to advertise, and I think what a lot of companies and advertisers are looking for is to break through the clutter, because there are so many media messages thrown at us on a daily basis, whether it be on the radio, TV, driving in your car, at the airport, print, and I think everyone is trying to fight and say, well, everybody wants bang for buck. Where's the place I can spend the least amount of money and get the biggest and quickest return?
Yes.
And I think certainly at tough times, branding your fleet is a very compelling reason in that you own the media, you own the space, as it were, and it's a once-off cost that's going to give you that daily, weekly, and those exposure over the years that the branding is on the vehicle.
Absolutely. So now, of course, we've already discussed the effectiveness of this branding in terms of when you said that folks have seen your vehicle over 10 times, but it turns out it's only 2 vehicles. Tell me a little bit about the way that you are trying to expand on the product offering in terms of covering different cities. Because are you working just in Joburg, Cape Town, or Durban, or are you trying to expand throughout the whole of Africa at the same time?
Nick, our current plans at the moment are to grow within South Africa. We recently are in the process of establishing a branch up in Nelspruit, and we'll look to other parts of the country to establish graffiti offices first. We did look at Africa, and we have had a small move into Africa, but I think Africa is an entirely different project. And if you're going to do it properly. We'd rather bed down, within the borders for now. But Africa certainly, I think, for most companies, is the future growth. But our plan right now, in the immediate sort of 12 months anyway, is to bed down South Africa and get our presence established here on a bigger footprint.
No, absolutely. And I suppose that's sound entrepreneurship right there, to make sure that you got your bases covered before you proceed. And I suppose my next question then is to entrepreneurs out there who are looking to expand their brand and in terms of the way it's seen, the value that you offer. Have you gotten any feedback? What's the type of messages that you've been getting from your clients in terms of the way that their business has improved from their branding?
Look, to be fair, I don't think vehicle branding or any form of advertising can really say, well, because of this, my business has grown 20%. I think it's a large contributor because I think gut feel will tell them, I've seen your vehicle on the road, and I've seen it here, and I've seen your buckies there. And I've got a friend of mine in the aluminium industry that just really has had door decals on his vehicles before, and he didn't really see the need to kind of, go into a more sort of a creative advert for his vehicles. But I convinced him to just do a little bit more than what he had. I said he needed to move out of the dark ages. And in doing so, his existing customers just, I see your vehicles everywhere now. I didn't realize you guys were so big. So he didn't do it as a need to grow his business. He didn't need any more business, as it were. But just that brand recognition and support that he's felt through the vehicles has been fantastic. So I think the beauty of vehicle branding, it's a feel-good thing. Often, clients perhaps don't see their advert or miss it on, in a print or on TV or whatever it may be. With your vehicles, it's really in your face, all the time, and you see it on the road, and your head turns, or your mate will phone you, say, "Oh, I saw your vehicle the other day." So that's the kind of feedback we've had, and our offerings of vehicle branding extend from the corporates, which is some of them are sort of quite sort of straightforward in terms of their corporate look and feel, where others we've got creative license to really create something, funky and in your face kind of thing. So
absolutely.
It's quite nice to have that diverse.
And again, it's that top of mind thing that you were talking about. And I suppose at the end of the day, if you're seeing a brand everywhere on vehicles where it only may be one or two vehicles, you are giving the impression that you are a large brand. And I think that's really what people want. People want presence. And I think that's exactly what you guys are going for.
Absolutely. And that's what we say to customers is that, as I said, I don't think there's any one marketing or advertising medium that is the answer to all. But certainly, even if you have 1, 2, or 3 vehicles effectively branded. Now, I must stress that effectively branded, because people seem to think that branding is putting a door decal on with their name and phone number. That's not branding. That's just identifying the vehicle. Our pitch to customers is you need to look at this not as an operational thing. You look at it as a marketing and an advertising thing, and the way to really effectively do that is through the design. And it's like I say to my designers, it's like we've got a canvas to paint on, and you say we've got these billboards on wheels, use it. I often say to customers, if you had a billboard on the side of the N2, would you leave it blank? And you weren't paying for the media, would you leave it blank? And by not branding your feet, that's effectively what you're doing.
Yes.
So it's a bit of a mind shift and an education to some of our customers as to the power. It explains the power of the potential advertising they have and owning we call it a media, but it is a media. It's a transit media that they have at their disposal. But nothing else that they spend to advertise their business will be a once-off cost. So it doesn't matter if they're doing pamphlets at a robot or sponsoring a golf day, as a lot of customers do. It's a once-off cost, and they have to keep spending in order to get that exposure again.
Yes, and I think that's the biggest thing right there is that, it's a once-off cost that's going to provide a return for you, whether it be short-term or long-term. And again, it's once-off, and you've improved your brand on day one, literally within 48 hours of dropping off your car and receiving it. You've done that. And I think the last thing I'm going to ask you, of course, David, is how do people get in contact with you if they're suddenly having this light bulb moment going, actually, hey, I need to get this done. I need to get it done now. How do they get in touch with you guys?
The best ability to go, depending on where they live in the country, would be to go to our website, which is www.graffiti.co.za. And then we have regional offices in Durban, Joburg, and Cape Town. If they'd like to speak to me, I can always direct them, and the office number is 031 569 6820.
Absolutely wonderful, David. That, of course, I'm sure will provide invaluable, returns for the businesses that are going to approach you. And it brings us to the end of this edition of eBizWires. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me on eBizRadio.
Love you. Thank you so much for your time, Nick. Nice chatting to you guys, and thanks again.